The Sharing Space
on the Clement Manyathela Show.
702.
11:33, time for the Sharing Space. This is where we share our stories about things that have happened in our lives, at work, during your holiday, while you were taking a walk. Whatever happened, really, that you want to share with us, that piqued your interest and you thought would be interesting to share with the 702 family. The easier way to send your stories, to share them, is to send me an email on cm@702.co.za. And we've got a story that someone has sent and is sharing with us today. So what I'll do is I'll play their WhatsApp voice note. And as usual, afterwards, I'm going to go to your calls and your WhatsApps. If they're asking for advice, please be kind enough to advise. If they're saying something that you have also experienced, I'd like to hear what your experience has been. So here we go.
Hi, 702 Landers. I'm currently struggling with a situation that has left me feeling very confused and hurt. I have a friend that I've known since childhood. We grew up together and have shared many, many milestones. Even when her lobola was paid, I was there and I was so happy for her and I celebrated with her family and all of that. But even after the lobola, I would call in to check how wedding preps were going. You know, you would naturally assume I'd be part of the wedding, right? But I found out on social media that she got married and I was not invited. And it felt like a major betrayal. What made this even harder for me was the explanation that she gave after I confronted her. She told me that there was a limited number of guests and she couldn't invite everybody. At first, this sounded reasonable until I saw that her other friends were invited and even those that weren't as close. So why wasn't there space for me? Am I clearly the everybody she was talking about? This leaves me wondering or unsure of where I stand in her life or whether this friendship even still matters to her. I'm torn between feeling maybe I don't have the right to be angry, you know. After all, this wedding is hers and it's her choice. But I can't help but question whether I did something wrong or whether our friendship matters to her as much as it did for me. Do I have a right to be angry or am I just being petty? Was this a sign of the end of our friendship? Regards, Anonymous.
Okay, so, whoa, not the sign of the end of the friendship. I don't think we're there yet. I don't think we're there yet, but you're asking the right question. Do you have a right to be angry because you were not invited to a wedding in which there was a limited number of people that could attend? So let me put it out there first to the listeners. What do you think? Should Anonymous be angry with her friend? I mean, she was there at the lobola negotiations. She attended the lobola negotiations. But when it was time for her friend to do the white wedding, this friend wasn't invited. And the explanation she got was, well, there was a limited number of people. But she saw on social media the pictures that other friends had gone to the wedding. Now, let me say that I have been in the same situation before. Well, I was invited to the wedding, so I wasn't a friend that was left out. But I had a friend of mine who had a wedding. This is like probably about, this is like now 14 years ago, probably. And I remember this friend of mine had two weddings. There was one traditional wedding where all of her friends were invited. And then there was a white wedding. And she was actually getting married to a white person. So at the time, and I'm mentioning the race of the person because that was a conversation at the time. I mean, this is like 14, 15 years ago. So they chose that they're only going to have about, I think, 20 people at the wedding. So the groom brings 10 people, bride brings 10 people. And that includes the family and friends and, colleagues, you name it. So that's quite a tight number to work on. And I remember some friends were like, they understood because they thought, but, white people's weddings are normally like this. That was how other friends understood it at the time. So I made it on the guest list, right? Because I'm friends with the bride. And the bride, I made it on the 10 people that the bride was inviting. But I remember the bride had other friends. Some of them she grew up with, and I had only met the bride, during my final year, actually, at university. But there are people that the bride has known even from childhood. There are other people the bride has worked with for longer. People that the bride has known longer than she's known me. And I think those people at the time took offense. But they were invited to the traditional wedding, which actually happened, I think, the following weekend. So everybody was invited to come there. But there was unhappiness. There were murmurs. People were like, yeah, but why didn't I go? Why was that person there? So I really get where Anonymous is coming from. But does she have a right to be angry? I think any bride or groom has every right to invite whoever they want at their wedding. And sometimes you may think that you are a close circle of friends to me, and maybe to you. Maybe I'm your best friend, but are you my best friend? So I'm probably 3 of the closest friends in your life, but are you 3 of the closest friends in my life? And I think, Anonymous, my advice is just be a little gracious. Understand that the friend I hope your friend at least told you that, hey friend, I'm going to have a wedding, the white wedding, but it's tough because I've got a limited number of people, so please bear with me. You won't be there because I can only bring 3 friends and I've got 3 childhood friends I brought. I hope that she's explained that if you guys are really that close. But yeah, it's their wedding at the end of the day. I don't know. I wouldn't be angry, but I understand that you take it differently. So let's hear what the 702 family thinks. Does she have a right to be angry? Should she have a conversation with the friend? 011-883-0702. WhatsApp's on 072-702-1702.
The Sharing Space
On the Clement Manyathela Show.
702.
18 minutes before 12 o'clock. Let's go to your calls. Piarani, let's start with you in Senton. What do you think? Hi. Hey, Piarani.
Oh, Piarani, yes.
Sure.
Sure. Yeah, my take on this Anonymous view is that I can agree with you that, people do have a right to choose who they want to be.
Yeah.
They want their wedding or whatever the event. But what I do think also is that sometimes you think they're too close, and then maybe you even overshare. I've shared this with them, I've had this with them, I've called them when I had this, and then they don't do the same to you. And if you believe, like I do, that a relationship needs to be a two-way stream, and I think now, and you think that is not the kind of relationship that you have, where you are not being reciprocated the way you want to be, then maybe you need to start engaging at that level.
Yeah.
Maybe now start addressing it like, I will share this with them and not that.
Yes,
because sometimes what people sometimes what are giving you, they don't expect more than that from you. Sometimes you find that you are even annoying them by telling them all your problems.
Yeah, because they don't want to hear those from you. They're not that close to you, but you think you are that close to them and they're that close to you. I hear you, Piarani. So maybe she must relook at the relationship. Lehlogonolo, you are in Reimsach. What do you think? Hi.
Morning, Clement.
Sure.
So, Anonymous story reminds me of my story. So, there's this guy that I met in 2009. We became close. Then fast forward 10 years later, I remember, so he's into tenders. 10 years later, I remember saying to him, and we were very close so throughout the 10 years. And then I remember saying to him, hey, Chief, there's people that you recently met in your life, like if some of them are just 2 years, if a friendship that it's been 2 years since you guys have been friends, and already you are giving them business, and you've never given me any business. The answer was simple and straightforward. Chief, I've never regarded you as my friend. You were just somebody that was close in my circle, and the reason I enjoyed chilling with you was because every time I wanted to unwind, have girls around, I knew that if I call you, you're going to make a plan with girls.
After 10 years.
That's why you were in my life. After 10 years. That's why you were in my life, And on that same day, I took a decision. I stopped talking to him until today. It's been 4 years. I haven't spoken to the guy. I haven't seen him. So Anonymous, because I thought I was a friend. So Anonymous may think that she was a close friend to the bride, only to find out that she wasn't. So it's simple. She does not have any right to get angry, but she can make a decision. Well,
yes, it can be her decision. True. Lehlawanolo in Remsach. Thank you.
Clement. How are you doing? Great show. But come on, guys. I don't know. Maybe it's me. But I mean, the proof is in the pudding. I mean, to be honest, I feel like a wedding is a big day. And if someone is that good a friend to you, if someone is that close to you, they should invite you, right? It goes without saying. You would probably be first on the list. There's something up. There's definitely something up. There's a reason. There's something up. But like you're saying, maybe it's not the end of the friendship. But there's definitely something up, and it's big. And it's big because a wedding is a big thing.
Good morning, Clement. This is Kabela from Pretoria. My suspicion is that Anonymous all along thought this person was a friend. So Anonymous wasn't a friend. Anonymous was just a resource of some sort that this friend of hers, friend in quotes, benefited something. So when it was time to rejoice, she just felt she needs to be with her real friends. So what she should just do is just to cut this so-called friend off completely and forget about it and move on.
You're definitely not being petty. It hurts when that sort of thing happens. But I think that she is showing you the role you have in her life. And going forward, you need to accept that, however sad it is.
Clement, I would be angry. I would be angry, honestly. Why must I be excluded? Which means this friend doesn't trust me. I'm not her friend. I'm not her friend. I would be angry. Why pretend all along? I would be angry, Clement. Brenda Dobsonville.
More of your calls and WhatsApps after this. It's 12 minutes before 12.
The Sharing Space
On the Clement Manyathela Show.
702.
10 minutes before 12 o'clock. Back to your calls and WhatsApps.
Right, Clement. Interesting one. Look, I think it's a class thing. Back in the days when I was still a pretty young man, not having a lot of resources, I didn't make most of the invites. And soon after, things became better for myself. Now I'm making all the lists. I think it's a class thing. And I've cut off most of those guys that only saw me when I had something.
Hello, Clement. Good morning. Regarding this lady complaining about being forgotten about the wedding, I think she has the right to be angry. Very, very angry. And I think there's no any good reason that her friend can give to back up her points of why she left her out. Yeah, I think this one, no man. I think there's no friendship there. It's a big loud speaker of saying there's no friendship between you and me, or I don't value you as my friend. Yeah, so let her be angry and get out from this so-called relationship. Because if she was able to attend the robot and everything, there was no way she would be left out. And there was no reason that she can give to support her reasoning that as she was saying. Thank you so much, Clement.
Clemens, good morning, and good morning to all the listeners. This question, what I would say to Anonymous? What I would say to her, you have no rights to be angry. You are putting yourself as maybe a close friend. You don't know how she has already demonstrated. She has already demonstrated what you are to her. You have no right to be angry, so to speak. You go get married if you're not married yet. And if you're not married yet and don't invite her, go get married if you're not married yet and don't invite her. Everybody's happy. Case closed. Titus. Fontaine.
Okay, Titus. Vusi, you're in Pretoria. Good morning.
Hi, Lochan Clement, ngapha studio at Vusi in Pretoria, yes.
Locha Vusi, what are your thoughts?
Clement, I think this lady, she mustn't be hard on herself because of, she was invited in fact, she was the part of the Lobola negotiations. So now, let's say, as I've heard it, the guests were limited, right? So, she, because she was in the Lobola negotiations, so maybe they could have said, as in the family, to say, let's give other people a chance because of she was there. For her to be in a wedding, they might have to take out another person whom perhaps was not in the Lobola negotiations. So she must just take a chill pill and let the friendship go on. Yes.
Yeah, take a chill pill. Yeah, we see in Pretoria. Thanks. I hear you, but maybe then they should have had the conversation. The bride should have said, "Friend, because you've come to the Lobola, others who didn't come to the Lobola will come to the white wedding." The problem is there are other people who were also at the Lobola who still made it to the white wedding. How does the bride explain that?
Yo, Clement, this reminds me. Oh my God, you took me back. Because this actually happened to me. Okay, but then in a different way. When my brother got married, I was so sure I'm going to be like, part of his, maybe his best man or something. I was not even a groomsman, bro. Yo, okay, I get it. Sometimes you don't mean as much to a person as you think as they mean to you. I get it.
Hi, Clement. This is Henan from Florida. We have the same situation. My one stepbrother's daughter is getting married, and she's not inviting to her wedding. I'm also not invited, but it doesn't really bother me because I don't like the groom she's inviting with. That she's getting married to. So it doesn't really matter to me. And it's in the week, and it's not over a weekend when you can really take off. So yeah, it doesn't really bother me. I don't like the guy, doesn't have respect for older people. So yeah.
No, man, I think Anonymous needs to cut off that friendship. She's clearly not valued the same way she values her friend. Dude, if you invite me to your negotiations and I pitch up, and I've always pitched up to everything that was a milestone in your life, clearly and fairly enough, I think I deserve at the least to get invited to your wedding as well, bro. You know what I mean? If there were other important people, if I was not important enough to make it to the wedding list, then surely I shouldn't have been important enough to make it to the Lobola negotiations as well. If you had cut me out of both events, then that would have made sense. But dude, I was there at the beginning of your wedding journey. Now, in the culmination of the process, you can't invite me? You're not a friend. She's pretending. Cut that lady off. Move on.
Clement. A similar thing happened to me a couple of years ago. A guy that I considered as a friend just didn't invite me to their wedding. And I saw on that this guy's getting married. And then another friend of mine told me that, you know what, my guy, no one owes you anything. No one owes you anything. Even if your brother is to be getting married the following day, just know that he doesn't owe you an invitation. It's at his discretion who he wants to spend money on. So, yeah, she must just take it as it is. No one owes you anything. Just accept or appreciate those people that do take you as a person into consideration. Thanks. Solo from Boxburg.